Hey, my name's Charles, and I'd like to share with you the modular bullet journal system that I've been using. Using about 18 months now. It's got two notebooks that I carry around together, and it's working out really well for me. And want to encourage you, though, if you're new to bullet journaling, go check out bulletjournal.com and Ryder Carroll's excellent introduction to it. I also encourage you to join Bullet Journal University, one of their plans. It's, I love bullet journaling. I've been doing it for years, and it's really good to have a strong foundation in Ryder's original concept before you expand on it and change and make a bunch of spreads. I will show you some spreads that are my own, just like anybody. You customize it over time to yourself. But want to switch over to the desktop view and show you first the paper, the notebook itself that I use. This is the Lochby dot grid. For me, this has what I call the Goldilocks number of pages, and this will get me through a month with the additional notebook that I use. I have two of these that I carry with me. I know that's not a lot. I kind of tend to take minimal number of notes. Sometimes I will go beyond this and use either a second notebook that I take this one out, put the other one in a traveler's notebook sort of style. But I'll show you the whole system here in a second. Sometimes, though, I'll just, go through this and I'll have just a couple more days left to go, and I'll staple or paste some extra pages in here rather than, switching out for a whole new notebook. So what I do, I go through 13 notebooks a year or so, one for the annual book and one for each month. And I'll go into the full system right now. First, though, I want to show you how I carry them around. This is something that I used to use. It's also the Lochby brand. I switched to this one at one point when it came out, and I had some gear acquisition syndrome kick in, and used it for a few months and liked it, but didn't love it. So I switched back to the one I'll show you here in a minute. This one has the elastic bands the way a traveler's notebook does. I use this as my wallet, so fill it up with my cards and everything. And the problem that I had with this, really two problems. One, it was just a little bit too big to fit into my pocket. And yes, ladies, I know, I'm sorry. Guys' pockets are bigger, and I can fit this, or just barely fit this in my back pocket. It was such a tight fit, though, that I'd usually just carry it. The other big problem with it was that it doesn't close completely on the sides. The sides are open. It just has this clasp that closes it. And prefer this one. So this is called Lochby's Mini Field Journal, and this one is their Pocket Journal. This one has a zipper closure, opens up flat and closes up completely with the zipper. It's a little bit smaller than the one I just showed you. And I absolutely love this thing. You can tell it's got a lot of patina on it because I carry this every day carry, ride or die notebook for me. So let me go into the system that I use. I'll pull this back out here in just a minute, and we'll load it up the way I do to carry it. So like I said, we start with two notebooks and carry two notebooks with me everywhere that I go. The first notebook is annual notebook, and the second one is monthly. And I'll show you the spreads that I use and how I go through it. I do like to use these little tabs, and even though this is sort of set up to use throughout the years, throughout the whole year. I'll go through that in a minute. I do not recommend. I recommend using the normal, write the journal as you go. That's the way I do it in my monthly. In my yearly, though, I populate it in advance with the events and timeline pages that I'll go into here in just a second. Anyway, so we'll start here with the annual notebook. It is the beginning of the year, so this is brand new. There's nothing in it yet, but I wanted to show you the spreads that I use and the layout. So first of all, I put my phone number on the front, and it hasn't happened yet, but hopefully it'll make its way back to me if if I ever lose it. So the first thing I like to set up is a annual spread. Took a lot of time, depending on the size of your notebook. It's going to be a little bit, different, the same as this. And it's always fun to mess this up. I will say I am definitely a pencil person. I make way too many mistakes to be a pen person. So I love these GraphGear, Pentel GraphGear 1000s. That's the only pencil that I use, and just because it's sneaking into the frame, Pilot G2s are the pens that I use. I am a simple person when it comes to that. Anyway, so here is the spread for the year, and this is lined up so that we have week numbers, and basically you got 3 lines, 2.5 lines maybe, that you can use for the week, for each week of the year. I'm not trying to put everything into this. I'm just trying to put the big, like, oh, I'm on vacation this week, and whatever conference that week, that sort of thing. Just being able to block it out. I don't, this is not the only thing that I look at as my calendar. My digital calendar is my source of truth when it comes to all of the events, and that's the same as when we get into the monthly book I'll show you here in a second. Anyway, so that's my annual layout. And then we get into the first monthly layout. So this is what I call my events page. This is not canonical GTD. This is not one of the core spreads that is recommended. The timeline is recommended, and that's, you fill in things after they've happened in your timeline. This is amazing. I do use this at the end of last year. Right now I can go through and look at an entire year's worth of 1 line per day entries on 12 pages, 12 of my timeline pages. So this timeline is for after it's happened. Basically every day you write a line of what happened the day before, or at night, you write what happened that day. But then the events page, I keep 3 columns this way. This column, first column, is stuff that is me. I'm going to be there. Say it's a birthday party, right? I'm going to the birthday party. I'm going to put it here in this first column. This is for maybe a birthday, but I'm not going to the birthday party. So it's something that is not directly affecting me, something that I need to do, but it's something I want to keep my eye on. And then over here is something that's going to happen in the world whether I'm there or not, right? Football games that are coming up, obviously the holidays and that sort of thing. So, personal, I'm going to be there. It affects me directly. I want to keep track of it because it affects me or somebody that I care about. This is just happening in the world. And so that's basically how I break that down. Obviously 1 line per day. I didn't talk about that, but top to bottom, first day of the month all the way through the 31st day of the month. And then I put in the first letter of the day of the week, and then I put in the week number. I live in the States. We don't commonly use week numbers, but I find that it's really helpful. Obviously my annual spread is set up using the week numbers, and I just find that it's really useful. So anyway, annual spread, big picture over the course of the year. Really at the beginning of the year, it's a lot for planning, more than anything. And then as the months go by, I'll flip pages and I see January. Oh, that's worth mentioning. So I like to use these tabs, and I set the tabs up so that I can pull it to get to the events or push it to get to the timeline. And then I add tabs as the months go by, so that the next tab will be February. I'll add it February 1st, and that way I'm not kind of fumbling through all of the tabs across the top. I just know that as they progress, it's just that most recent tab that you grab. Anyway, so that's what I've got, and I do like to, for future months, I haven't taken the time yet, but I will probably in advance go through. I often, just when I'm bored, I'll go through and put in all of the numbers and the letters, but I do on my events page like to draw the 3 columns, and the reason for that is the only difference between events and timeline is that word, timeline or events, if I don't add the columns. So when I add the columns, that, you know, there's been a lot of times that I've put the wrong one on the wrong page. So this is something new I'm doing this year, making sure everyone's got that. So in this Lochby book, there's 72 pages, but 35 vertical spreads, half of it. And 72 pages. I didn't say that. That's important too. I use this first, half spread to write my intention for the year. Haven't filled it in yet, but yeah. So that's my annual book. This doesn't take the entire notebook. We get to December. We've got a few pages left. One of the things I struggle with a lot is actions and future log stuff. I don't have a future log here, and I don't have actions that I would take here either. And it's because I kind of go back and forth between digital and paper on this. Please add some stuff in the comments if you got anything that could help figure out the right way to do this. I've thought about using the Alistair method to put, January, February, March, April, May, and do a future log, across 2 pages. And I do use an Alistair, you'll see in the monthly book here in a second, to do actions. Trying to think if there's anything more to say. We might come back to this, but for right now, we'll set that one aside too. So next up is my monthly book. So this is January, set up, ready to use for January, just like I did with the annual book. I've got an intention page for January 2026. And then next page is my index. Now, I'll admit I am not great about keeping an index, but I put one in every time, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. And, honestly, I'm not to the point right now that I would trust myself to use it. I kind of feel like the chronology is the index of itself, but every once in a while I'll come in here and I'll use it, and truthfully really should use it more, because just like the timeline view in this book, the index view would give me a really good way to get to whatever topic I'm into or need to get to. So this is my weekly spread. Time of the day, basically 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Is what I track in the book. These are days in December, this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I've left those blank here in the January book, but January 1st starts Thursday. Same thing, 7 to 9 p.m. here. Again, this is not the source of truth. My digital calendar is the source of truth. And so I would, at the beginning of each week, I'd look at my digital calendar and pull things into here. And it might be the last time I look at it. But that day, that time that I'm considering every item that's on my digital calendar and putting it into my book, I think is really valuable, because then you can go, oh yeah, this Saturday is such and such's birthday and I need to buy him a present or whatever. And if you don't look at a calendar, look ahead at a calendar in one of your bullet journal rituals, then you're not gonna, you're gonna miss that, or at least I would miss that. So anyway, so that's my weekly. And then in the same way that I did where you can kind of like pull to get to the week or push, I push to get to my actions page. Like I said, this is something that I'm still struggling with. Please help me out in the comments if you can share what you do. But what I've got here is the Alistair method, and actually shouldn't have a full line there because that's how I do my buttons down here. Sorry, my dots down here at the bottom. So what I would do, similar, what I'm trying to do now, similar to the way I just talked about the calendar, I'm trying to keep a digital actions list, and then during the week pull in actions, or migrate forward from previous months and weeks. It's not really working for me. I've been trying that for 2 or 3 months, and I end up just getting a backlog here, and I got a backlog in my digital system, and it's all a mess. And maybe that's just because I'm doing too much. But bottom line is, this is the way that I do my actions, or I'm trying to do my actions. And then next page here starts my dailies. And so I'll just start, and like I said, I put tabs on the month and on the week, so I can get back to month index or the first week. Right, so that's the week view and then the first day of the week. Couple things. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, once I have the action page, so the week view or the actions for the week, pull or push. So then the one thing I've been interested in starting, the new BuJo 3.0, we have the away and toward, things that move you away from your intention and things that move you toward your intention. What I've been doing is include them like down at the bottom or at the end of any given day. But I'm starting to think I'm going to put them here at the very beginning. Just the first things that I'll write are away and toward. And that way, at the beginning of each day, that's there so that when I go back to review it, lined up with this, day, Thursday, this was my away and toward. Obviously, I do all my, daily bullets and then come back to fill those things in. The other thing that I like to do is interstitial journaling. So right now it is that time, right? And a note is making this video. And, having fun. And then, all of the new like the equal sign for moods and dots for actions. And then, obviously I'll have some of those, and then there will be a gap. And I try to use the interstitial journaling when I sit down at context changes. When I first sit down to do something, and then the last thing I do before I get up to change context. Going to eat lunch, put at the last, number here would be, or dinner rather, going to eat dinner would be a note. Anyway, that's what I've got. Hopefully I went through that in a reasonable pace, and you got an idea of the spreads that I used. As promised, I'm going to load up my notebook here, or journal. So yeah, Lochby calls this a notebook and calls this a journal. So the way that I do it is I've got basically 2 pockets that I can put these into. So this one goes here, and this one goes, this one goes here. And then my pencil goes between the 2, and then I zip it up, and that is what could be considered my bullet journal, just the bullet journal by itself. But I go a little further with that and did some arts and crafts kind of stuff. And actually this should be added to my bullet journal, which 2 things to add, which is they make this printable. You can get it if you're part of BuJo U. They might have shared it somewhere else. It's made for the larger bullet journal version, so I had to cut it down a good bit to get it to fit. But I keep that right here in the back so that whenever I go to do a ritual, I don't have to think about it, think about the steps. I just pull this out and follow the steps there. I also keep a simple, flexible, straight edge in the back. And I said I did arts and crafts because This was a manila envelope, you know, the kind with the brad that you open up, and cut it and taped it to fit inside the journal. So now I've got a little envelope in the back that I can pull out. This is good for receipts, or I keep scrap pages in here. If I want to, instead of having to tear out a page, I'll get a quick scrap paper out of that. I also keep the little tabs. These are Avery brand, and peel and stick, and so I keep the tabs in here so that I can do them over the course of the week and month. So those two colors that I use for that. And so I guess more accurately, that is a full bullet journal for me. And it's it'll kind of settle in and work better. But it's pretty, not surprising, but it is good that this sort of stays in here until you need it, right? But I can just toss that in there on the go and zip it up and stick it in my pocket. However, I also use this as my wallet. One more thing, and this is kind of a tight fit. I don't love it, but I do it just as a sort of hack cheat. There's a hole that goes down underneath the zipper, between the zipper and the cover there, and I put one of these shorty Pilot G2s in it, just in case I need a pen. It does come in handy. It makes it a little tighter to close that up, and but again, I can fit it. It's kind of amazing how much I get crammed in here over time. Then again, arts and crafts started with that same envelope, and then I added some baseball card separators. So baseball card 3-ring binder sheet. We had some laying around, and I basically used an obscene amount of packing tape and then this baseball card holder to make myself this wallet insert. Obviously not going to pull them out and show you, but it's my ID. I usually carry $40 worth of cash or so. Credit cards that I use every day when I use credit cards over here, and then things like business credit card and insurance card and that sort of stuff. So I put those in here behind the monthly notebook, and then I also have an Apple AirTag that I stick inside of it. I bought this before I started carrying it in here, or else it would have one of the lightning bolts on it, but on the app it's got a lightning bolt, so that goes in one of the pockets back there. And also, believe it or not, I found these at a Japanese bookstore. Little bitty tiny colored pencils with a little bitty tiny eraser, little bitty tiny pencil sharpener, and I stick that in here too. I wish I could draw better than I do, but it's fun to pull those out every once in a while to either spruce up my notebook with some color or draw something silly. And pencil back in the middle, and again, sort of believe it or not, but all of that, well, see, it hasn't settled in yet to the point that I can close it easily. But this is my modular bullet journal with everything that I carry around every day. So it's my wallet, my bullet journal, and helps keep me organized. So hope that was interesting. If you are still here, thank you for taking a look. I love bullet journaling, been doing it years and years. Encourage you to do it as well. Check out bulletjournal.com for official information about the products that they sell and the bullet journal method itself. Join Bullet Journal or BuJo U for their one of their membership levels. I'm a member. They're not paying me to say this, just I think that there's a lot of valuable information and a really strong community there that can help you with your practice. I think that's all. I'm Charles. Take care. Bye.